Hi everybody. Hey, welcome back. I just wanted to take you through some steps on what we did to get past the pony motor that the magneto had given up on. We lost some teeth in that. If any of you had followed the channel before and seen any of the videos I put up before, you know this pony motor had to be taken out because I had teeth missing out of the magneto and wasn't sure if they were where they were. They got chewed up or what, so I took it out. In doing so, I was having a fight with one of the bolts, and there's a weld right here that you can see that actually prevented the last mechanic from tightening that bolt. I finally wound up shearing the head off and pulled the pony out, and did find another tooth in there, but I also found, as you've probably seen before, the valve guide right there has been welded in the past. And between those two fractures and the age of this machine, I thought, you know what, maybe it's time for a change. And a change we did. So in order to go over to an electric start, I decided to do some research on it. And of course, we went to 24 volt. The good folks over at B&C Equipment supplied me with this 24 volt starter, bolted right up into the bell housing. So there was a cover plate on there. I supplied the number off that cover plate and ordered up the starter, and it was just a week and a half later it came in. So underneath these batteries here, now notice these batteries do not match, and I know that goes against the cardinal rule, but I'm charging them separately. And I also found out that wire on the cab post there is coming off my generator, which is 12 volt. So I'm thinking of doing a double throw switch so that I can charge one battery, and when the ammeter shows that it's full, I'll switch it over to the other, and that way I can keep them separate but in the same 24 volt circuit. Again, you know, you should use brand new batteries, or at least use ones of the same age and the same type, but we've got away with this so far. It's turned over. We gave it a crank, and everything seemed to work up. We wanted to make sure the meshing on the teeth was okay. My son was here, and a little shout out to him for helping me get this thing ready. Notice the piece of wood under those batteries. Underneath that there is a plate to cover up. It was the access to the gear that goes into your pinion, and also the coolant on the other side. And so thanks to some of the folks on ACMOC and some of the other YouTube videos, it was easy enough to just make up a pattern based on a gasket that I bought to go on the bottom of the pony, which fit of course into the bolt pattern. We sealed the plate off after patterning the gasket and cut out a piece of 3/32 steel, siliconed it, put it on top, put the wood on there, and then connected everything up. I did go with a gauge and the copper tubing. I don't like plastic tubing underneath the hood, so we got to the copper, and I also changed out the water temperature gauge, and so we'll see how that works. Right here is a custom mount. Again, my son had done up a cardboard pattern and basically cut it out of the 3/32 steel, and then used all thread for support bracket, because I'm sticking with the air filter at this time that came on the machine, which is oil bath of course, and maybe in the future I'll switch over to a paper filter. I've been doing some reading on that, and machines tend to do better with the air filter than modern filters of today, so maybe that'll be another upgrade. But for now, you know, that's a long intake tube there, and so all that weight has to be supported now that the pony's out of there, and so it's basically just bolted in to the dash panel. And notice my son took the switch off of the starter for the pony and got that mounted into the dash panel as well. So it looks like we're about ready to start here. This engagement, your pinion engagement, now does nothing. Obviously your fuel is going to stay the same. That's all hooked up. You know, your brake on the pinion does nothing now. I did have to cut my distribution here for the hydraulics going over to the blade, because when I went to take out the pony, the flywheel was not going to clear these hydraulic lines. So even after the flywheel was taken off, the crankshaft was in the way, and I had to cut this off so that we could move these hydraulic lines out of the way. And of course, once this thing gets out of the barn here, you can see it's in a pretty tight spot in the barn. That's where the pony engine gave up, so I got to get it out of here, get it washed up, and do some seat modifications. You see the battery box is now a chain box and going to be a toolbox, so we'll get some other modifications done here. I'll be right back.